Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Hamead Ahrary, who is the Director for Hydrogen at Verbund. Verbund is obviously the integrated utility in Austria. So welcome, Hamead. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for coming to the event. Can you tell us a little bit about Verbund? Obviously, it's a big major utility in Austria. You have a huge portfolio of renewable, I guess, electricity, but also interesting, you also own some of the sort of gas infrastructure as well. So an interesting player because you see both worlds, both gas and electricity. So yeah, tell us a little bit about the Verbund business.
Yeah. So our business is actually, as you are saying, we are an integrated player in the Austrian market. One very important fact about Verbund is that our production portfolio is green by around 97%. The backbone of our production is hydropower. We are complementing it more and more by wind and PV installations. This is part of the mission that we are going more European. As you were saying, we are owning the TSO, the electricity TSO by 100%, and 51% we are owning the gas TSO, which of course will play an important role in the future business that we are currently building up, because what we are doing is building up the hydrogen ecosystem for Central Europe, and there pipelines will play a major role, because from my point of view they are going to provide us with the required security of supply that we are needing. But as you may know, you just cannot take the pipelines one by one, you have to repurpose them, which I mean, at the end of the day, is rather a lower investment than building new ones.
Yeah, and this region, obviously, we're here in Dubai today. How do you see the region playing a role in I guess, Austria's hydrogen strategy?
The region will play a major role for Austria's strategy, but also for Europe, because Europe is going to import 10 million tons of hydrogen by 2030, which actually is around the corner, and this needs to go from somewhere. And what we are doing, not only Austria but also entire Europe, is taking care that this is happening, reaching out into different directions. There are certain corridors that play a major role for Europe, of course, coming from the north, but also the south corridor plays a major role for Europe, and this is where the MENA region, of course, is playing a big role. And it's all about proximity, first of all, but also about connectivity. And there are already some very important connections existing. To mention only one, there is this connection between Tunisia via Italy into the rest of Europe, which to a large extent is existing. Still need to put some more investments into that corridor, but this will play a major role for the long-term supply of Europe with affordable hydrogen, and that also means that, in fact, MENA region will play a long-term role for Europe.
And along with the physical connections, I guess it is also about people connections and having existing relationships in the region. Is that right? Yeah.
That is absolutely right, because when looking at our role as Verbund, what we are doing is not only importing hydrogen. We see the necessity that we, as a large utility who wants to provide their customers with security of supply and affordable hydrogen, we need to take care of the full supply chain. So somebody needs to orchestrate the supply chain. This is what we are doing. This also means that we need to go upstream. And that also means that we need to go upstream here in this region. And therefore the region, or the partners that we find in this region, are very important and decisive for us to build up joint business.
So I mean, you're looking at investing in projects producing green hydrogen in the region, and I assume working and collaborating with I guess, local partners as well. Yeah,
that's right.
Excellent.
I see that as an integral part of a foundation for a long-term supply.
I mean, you mentioned I guess Europe's overall targets. Do you personally, as Director of Energy at Verbund, have some targets within the business, or are there some numbers or investments you're actually looking at deploying?
Yeah, we have some let's say points of orientation, or some cornerstones, and I will give you some figures that are stemming from the Austrian strategy for hydrogen, and there demand will play a big role, because you develop the business coming from the demand side, and when you look at the demand side there, it is projected that in Austria you are going to require 160,000 tons in 2030, which does not sound much, but when you go to 2040, it is going to increase to 1.6 or even 1.8 million tons, and this is what we are taking care of.
That's a big decade of growth then, from sort of the 2030s onwards, from 130,000 to one, that's a lot.
And that's very logical or explainable, because especially in the early 30s, there will be a lot of demand drivers like climate policy, like quotas, like certificate prices, technological investment cycles or technological shifts are going to take place, which is all in all leading to a skyrocketing of the demand.
That's absolutely, and it obviously takes time to develop projects, and also there's a lot of innovation that needs to happen in terms of pulling some of the technology pieces down their cost curves. And any thoughts around, you mentioned the pipelines, but any thoughts around actually shifting that energy? And we had some discussions today around the hydrogen derivatives. There was comments around methanol, and obviously the suitability, I guess, of using methanol. Any thoughts around that?
Yes, from my point of view, all kind of supply that is coming into our market is highly welcome, because this is what our customers are requiring. And if talking methanol, those customers that require methanol, of course, will take it directly instead of converting it then via hydrogen. There are other areas where you need actual hydrogen, and you need it for a long term. And I think one thing that we have learned out of this terrible crisis that we are still in, the terrible war that is happening, is that security of supply has a very, very high value. 5 years ago, nobody was really valuing that highly or at all as it is valued now, which means that in fact you need a certain base load flow of hydrogen, and then you have all the other derivatives and other shapes and forms of hydrogen. So, but I'm of course a big fan of bringing hydrogen via every possible way into our home markets, because this is increasing the security of supply, and this is, at the end of the day, from my point of view, driving down prices. Because our customers would like to have affordable hydrogen.
Obviously. Perfect. Excellent. Well, many thanks, Hamead, for sharing your thoughts. Fascinating, and thanks a lot for coming to the event. Hopefully you're finding it useful, and you'll be able to make some good partnerships and meet some useful partners to build those projects going forward. So we look forward to you coming again next year and helping to accelerate the activity across the region. So many thanks, and nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.